there are many crimes in the world, as you can see, that honestly we're not aware of it, or sometimes we don't want to know that they exist. And one of those crimes that is very notorious that people just want to forget that they exist, but unfortunately it does, is none other than the crime of human trafficking. Human trafficking is a big crime, I must say. I've been hearing that North America does have this shady business of capturing people, most notably women, to being captured and treat them worse than dogs, and sell them to apparently a high bidder for sex or anything. It's monstrous when you think about it. And well, there are many crimes that I think that it's not the correct time to talk about it. But the point is that human trafficking is the core concept of the movie that I went to see, which is none other than Traffik. I had a little bit of a difficulty wanting to watch this movie, not because of the subject matter, but the trailer didn't impress me too much. But I was even thinking that maybe I'll skip movie night this week. No, I still was curious enough. I have to still find out good and bad movies to complete at least a list for at the end of the year. So I decided to go to see this movie because it's the one that catches my attention. Because the other ones that came out, I think they weren't on my interesting rate spectrum. Like the Amy Schumer movie, what was it? I Feel Pretty. It doesn't call my attention because I know that Amy Schumer is a lousy artist, and I don't want to give my money to a little bit of a lousy actress. And Super Troopers 2, I never saw Super Troopers 1. Maybe if I give it a try, but I don't make any promises. So let's talk about Traffik. A movie that was directed by, what was the guy? Again, I got my IMDb page too for references. He's directed by Deon Taylor, who is this guy who he made a movie that I didn't like. Actually, I saw two of his movies. One of them was Chain Letter, and the other one was Meet the Blacks. And honestly, I freaking hated those two movies. Especially Meet the Blacks. The Meet the Blacks, I admired that it was going to be kind of like the Purge parody, but man, that it was really lame. I'm not gonna go into details, but that movie was terrible. So after watching Traffik, it became apparent that even at the beginning of the movie, it wanted to tell us that this is based on a true story, which believe it or not, yes, is true. Not the event, but the crime, the type of crime that is happening. You know, human trafficking. And so we began this story. The story mostly centered on this journalist played by Paula Patton, who she has a boyfriend played by, what was it, Omar Epps, and they decided to go on a date well, in this luxurious house in the middle of nowhere, like in many of those kind of slash movies that you see. They also meet these Latino. They also are visited by this Latino guy and his girlfriend. But the point is that after a mishap, they're in a gas station with some biker gang they somehow kind of look like the Hell Bikers. The name of that gang, I don't remember so much. But the point is that these guys track them down into that house, and well, they're technically human traffickers because they have this chain of human trafficking, and yeah, they're gonna be the victims. Why? Mostly because apparently one of the victims in the gas station, she puts one of the smartphones or cell phone, whatever you want to call it, into our main character's purse. And well, they track her down. They track her down, and you know, I will say hilarity ensues, but this movie kind of was not much of a laughing matter, I'll say. According to the reviews that I have seen, which are little than to none, yeah, I thought that this was gonna be the really complicated movie to talk about. But most of them were honestly mixed bags. Some were good, some were bad. Some say that it's kind of like the worst thing they saw. But in my opinion, I would say, dude, if you saw Rampage or Truth or Dare, these are bad movies. This one, I gotta admit, is technically a little bit better than the crap that this director did. I mean, I'd rather watch Traffik again more than I want to watch his Chain Letter or Meet the Blacks. Because honestly, it showed that it wanted to have some. It showed that there was a little bit more focus on what he wanted to do. There was a little bit of competence on the things that he wanted to do. But I'm not gonna say that it's a perfect movie. It does reek of some problems, I'll say. Oh, but a little bit of a side note. You know what actually the most incredible thing that I had with experiencing this movie? Is actually not the movie itself. It was a family that it was next to me. And you won't believe it. Despite that this movie has a lot of violent, disturbing moments and sex appeal moments, I was wondering, whoa, this family of 5 with a father, a mother, and 5 kids that they're apparently 8-year-old or less or something like that. This is something admirable in a way because the whole movie, these kids were quiet. Apparently, I don't know, they were paying attention to the movie or something like that. So there, I hope that this family, I applaud them. Well-behaved children. So let it be known that not every kid they just need to be pay attention by junk on the TV or in the movie. It's like some cartoons or something like that. These kids were apparently well educated. I don't know what their life is, but now that I think of it, I'm really detracting when I was supposed to be talking about the movie. So let's run down with the basics of this movie. First of all is the acting. The acting, I will say that is decent at best. There are times in which the actors kind of ham it all. They kind of act a little bit too hammy. But I can buy it in a way. But probably one of the movie's biggest problems that I have is a little bit the pacing. Because it takes a while to get to the meat of the movie. Because we had to deal with 30 minutes of the couple, showing the couple, what was the character? Paula Patton and Omar Epps falling in love and all this stuff, and there is this, and they kind of wanted to establish the characters. I mean, like the Paula Patton character, she is a journalist who she's a journalist who she's very passionate on her job. She wants to reveal the truth, but she doesn't. Because she doesn't simplify the things and everything. She gets kicked off. What was in the New York Times? I think it was the job. And then Omar Epps, who he's clearly in love with her, but he also has his best friend who is this Latino guy who is this sports manager who kind of talks bullshit more a lot of times, and he has his girlfriend, his Latina girlfriend, who, well, apparently there is this talk that the guy slept with his best friend's girlfriend, and they were kind of quiet about it. And honestly, these scenes could be tossed aside because they're pretty much nothing. They're much kind of like they're MacGuffins in order to establish what are the personalities and the character behavior of these characters. But it doesn't. But unfortunately, it doesn't come off something useful for the movie. So technically, they kind of are the characters in the meat cleaver, and it gets set up with these scenes. Sometimes they put some pop music that, well, they're not technically bad. They're not technically bad. I'm not a fan when they use this pop music in order to put a mood or something like that. But the thing is that it takes a while until we finally get to the gas station and where they meet these biker gang, and then there's that female sheriff played by, what was the name, by Missy Pyle, played by Missy Pyle, and yeah, we see also this woman who, she looks really, really devastated, I'll say. She gives a little bit of a clue that was weak, that I'll get to it. And after that, and actually having this confrontation of what was it, Omar Epps, with a biker gang who was making fun of the car that he built and all this stuff. You know, rude criminal biker gang stuff. They pursue the guy. There was a brief chase scene, and we're back to like 15 or 10 more minutes of this lovey-dovey couple in this house in the middle of nowhere, I would say. And you know that in these kind of movies, going to a house in the middle of nowhere where there's almost from little to no reception of internet or telephone signal, it always smells like a bad idea. I still kind of wonder why people have art houses like that. And I can admit that house is really artsy. It's the first time in my life that we see a revolving door that really looks like one of those traps, hidden traps that you see on a cartoon. But I never saw a door like that. So again, they begin to bicker about the relationship with the characters, and then they find out that Paula Patton had this what was a smartphone. Had the smartphone that it belonged to the other woman, and after cracking a code by saying that it's 4th of July or something like that, and that it is revealed that it has pictures of human trafficking. It's all these women really beaten, bloodied, and everything. And yeah, then they begin to debate that they need to call the police. But the Latino guy is like, no, fuck that, because the corporate was gonna ask me this question, and because of the house. But I was in my head like, dude, we're talking about human trafficking here. Here's a hint, people. This is what this guy did. This is totally selfish. If you see a very disturbing picture, report it at once. But they wanted to do that because apparently they needed an asshole of the movie. So yeah, the Latino woman goes, they stroll around, and then finally, I think I even saw I saw on my smartphone to see the time that when finally the criminals finally appear, it took them like 45 minutes or 35 minutes to get to that point. And yeah, it happens. It becomes kind of like a pacing of a thriller movie. You know, the killers because they apparently also killed people. They killed also the woman who was trying to get the smartphone back, but since she couldn't, he's like, fuck that. They shoot her. So, and there was I was watching because I wanted to remember the name of one of the guys. One of the guys, he didn't even look like a biker gang. He kind of looked like a military Nazi. I was kind of thinking that he was a skinhead, in my opinion, but he looked more militarized than any of the biker gang that you could ever see. So technically, he was like the head honcho of all these groups. And like I said, after that it turns like a kind of like a thriller slasher movie of a couple trying to get away from kidnappers, well armed with knives, shotgun, and the biggest thing is that I'm always concerned that whenever they have the opportunity to finally kill one of them, I don't know why don't they bother to at least pick up their weapons, even for self-defense. Well, at this point, you know that when I'm making all these vlogs, it is kind of inevitable that I want to express my opinions. So again, I kind of warn you that if you're interested in the movie, you should shut down this video and watch it if you feel curious enough, because there are going to be spoilers. But anyway, continuing on, they did involve a pretty innocent old man who, I think he was a pastor, that they get in the house. There was this fight scene also with a guy with a shotgun who managed to kill Omar Epps. And yeah, they killed the guy. And one of the things that I kind of noticed, that there was this quick editing of apparently using the shotgun to shoot this criminal's head. But I swear to God that, okay, not God, I swear that I kind of noticed that the head doesn't explode. I mean, I am aware that the movie is low budget considering in super blockbuster movie standards, but at least give out some you gotta research about how the body reacts to how can I say impact of bullets. In this case, it was a point blank shotgun in the head. The head could have been explode. But okay, let's face it. Maybe they don't want it to go too graphic, but I think but maybe it's me, because that moment happened at least for a millisecond. I think it was like this. But anyway, the guy finally, the Omar Epps, before dying, he confesses that he was about to propose Paula Patton, and when she tries to get away within the car, in which unfortunately the car was a red herring because the car couldn't go and all this stuff. And I'm still wondering why the character didn't bother to at least pick up and bring up the shotgun. And honestly, what happens later is that she's been found, and finally, after trying to call the sheriff, which is the same woman. Here's the thing that happened. She was at the deputy, the sheriff. She was into it. She was kind of like the ringleader of it. She kills one of the comrades, and they capture Paula Patton. And in a way, in my head, it was like, I knew it. There were some. This is also one of the movie's weaknesses. That you kind of pay attention to the movies. It was kind of predictable. It was predictable, and the only thing that came out of the front when she finally shows her evil side, it was like, I knew it. Oh yeah, but I gotta give it credit to Mrs. Pyle that the way she acted as that traitorous sheriff, it was brilliant, I must say. She was brilliant on her role. She was cold. She felt like she really felt like she was acting like she's that character who is doing her duty, but at the same time it also hides her true intentions, which is of course human trafficking. So she and of course the Latina woman also were captured. I don't bother to name it, and this is where we get to see, you know, that they were transported in trucks. They are in this cave. They're in this cave where they're injected tranquilizer and all this stuff. And well, conveniently enough, Paula Patton finds a convenient loose nail in which she uses to finally kill the Nazi-looking guy and another guy in order for her to escape. And she finally gets to the gas station, the same gas station where they were in which she managed to make the owner of the gas station store call the sheriff again, but she was kind of like she was kind of like playing the wiser this wiser main character power, in which she at least called the real cops in order to lure the sheriff who wanted to bring her back. And there was this interesting talk about both discussing about human trafficking. She's like, oh, yeah, what about you? You're just such a traitor. Have you noticed that all these women are being trafficked and all this stuff? And that sheriff is like, huh? What about you? These clothes, this clothes? You know where it comes from? It comes from human trafficking. Everything is kind of trafficking. I'm just into the system. Well, good point, but I think she says something weaker. I don't remember what it is, but in my head, I was a little bit. I know a better response for that. I know I have a better response for what she said. I think that Paula Patton is like saying that, yeah, but you hurt people or something like that. Honestly, I don't remember. If I was in her position, I will be a little bit more snarky. I'll say that, yeah, no, true, but you just but you know what? You're sad because you decide to to belong in the system like everybody else. So that's more sad. But the thing is that she cuffed Paula, and then they get out. But lo and behold, the real cops have come. They capture her, and the SWAT team, FBI, and all this stuff rescue the trafficking woman. And of course, Paula Patton is saying she actually has the evidence and the photos of all the trafficking, and she convinced the guy from the New York Post saying that, hey, this is great. I must say that you got balls, but if I polish this, you're gonna be involving Congress. You're gonna involve many people, and the killers, they might come after you. Are you sure? And she just said, yeah, bring it, or bring them, let them come. And of course, it ends up with the post letter saying that there are millions of cases like that, and we should be aware and all this stuff. And honestly, I know that there were good intentions. There was intention of raise awareness of the problem of human trafficking. But the way it was told, this is where I found out a little bit of my biggest issue. So the biggest issue that I can find on this movie is that if the movie wanted to become a little too self-aware, that make us feel aware that this is a problem and we should be alert on these kind of things, I don't think that in a kind of like this slasher thriller horror movie, well, it's not horror movie, but you feel like it. Well, that kind of movie, I don't feel that it is the perfect way to show this, because the human trafficking part, it felt more like a coding for the horror. Let's put it like a horror movie or a thriller movie. It kind of put it like just an element instead of being the main focus. The main focus is kind of like an entertaining action thriller movie. And while action thrillers, adventure, fantasy, and all this stuff, there are great meals to make us feel aware of some of the problems that is about humanity and all this stuff. I think it could have been better if they could have it focuses a little bit more on that aspect instead of, wasting a little bit of time of 30 minutes or 40 minutes building up to this point. I mean, we had, like I said, we had to sit for a while, like 35 minutes, building that there was a romance there, which it could have been shortened a little bit. If that could have been shortened and on the character development, that would be fine. Honestly, the trafficking part is mostly kind of like the end of the movie. Maybe I mean the scenes of her on the if the movie could have focuses on the character being tortured, being on that truck, or being on that on that really horrible cave where they're treated worse as than slaves or everything like that, then that would be, I think that would be more effective on trying to convey that yes, human trafficking is a problem. Or else you're gonna get a little bit of a run-of-the-mill entertaining film, because honestly, more than I gotta admit, while being a little bit aware of the movie, I can't deny that I was slightly entertained. I mean, remember the family remember the family that was next to me, the one that I mentioned. These guys were entertained. I mean, when the killers get killed, they were like, yay! I mean, I kind of agree. Though, I kind of agree. These kind of people don't deserve to live. But, man, if you want to if you wanted to raise awareness about this, well, mission accomplished, I will say. But sometimes raising awareness of a problem that happens in these kind of in the world that we live in, it can be effective, I'll say. And maybe of this movie I could compare it to the Strangers movie, because the Strangers was kind of like an awareness of being careful of a line of burglary that happened in the director's neighborhood or something like that. And it was and I think that The Strangers was much more effective because it didn't waste time. It was showing the core element of the dangers of stranger danger in invading houses. The Traffik could have needed a little bit more focus on the scenes that I mentioned, the ones that concentrated on the human trafficking, instead of, too much of the romance and the capture. But maybe I'm being reasonable, or maybe I'm being nitpicky. That's the thing that I have to say. Oh, and speaking of nitpicky, is it me, or the gun sound effects are really loud? Maybe it's me, but I've seen movies with gunshot effects, but this is probably the biggest gunshot effects I have ever heard. Wow. So, oh yeah, another nitpick. Why the title is spelled with a K, like it wanted to be artsy, kind of like Mortal Kombat? Okay, that was another small nitpick. So, I think I'm in the middle of the road that I was entertained. I kind of think that it is an okay film. I think if people don't like it, I understand it. But in my opinion, I've seen worse. I've seen worse crap compared to, Rampage and Truth or Dare. Even though I had a blast with Truth or Dare because it was so bad it's hilarious. And Rampage is one that I hated a lot. So this one, it doesn't come as far as being bad. It's just kind of in the middle of the road. But considering that the director created very, very crappy movies, at least in my experience, maybe Traffik was a little bit of an improvement. So check it out if you want to. But seriously, my only message is that not everything in the world is sunshine. Sometimes there are more and more horrible things happening in this world right now. That still doesn't mean that you have to be paranoid or something like that, or thinking that that the world sucks, and because yes, the world sucks. I still encourage people that when they come up with these kind of situations, I encourage them to find the courage and bravery to defend, even if it's gonna turn you into a horrible human being, like killing or something like that. I know that I'm not supposed to say something like that. That considering that survival makes do do the most basic or natural horrible things. That's kind of a little bit of my suggestion. I don't want to go too much into this, but at least it will make you think about it and debate yourself. So that's all. That's all I have to say. But seriously, seriously, live a happy life. But at the same time, watch your back.